Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Hail Yes podcast. I am your host, Hailey Gamba. How is everyone doing today? It is payday, my favorite day of the week. To be honest, I don't have like a normal payday like everyone else. I get paid monthly, but for some reason, I got paid today along with everyone else. So I am calling today payday in the Gamba household. And it's just incredible. The sun is shining. The weather is decent. It snowed midday yesterday. I was very upset about it because I'm thinking, all right, we've had enough. Like Jersey has seen enough snow. I've had enough and I'm ready for spring. I just went and got a mani-pedi and I got some spring colors. I got like a mint green, almost like a faint mint green. It's not too crazy, but it's definitely a spring color, so I'm ready. And you guys know, if you've been following me on YouTube and Instagram, that I colored my hair, or I should say I bleached my hair, and I have highlights. So I'm like literally ready for spring and summer. I'm over the cold. Granted, I have been enjoying seasons a little bit more than I used to, but I'm about done. This is usually the time where I'm like, all right, let's do a little switch up. Let's get a little 60 degrees up in the house, okay? Like I need something different than the whipping wind and the snow. I kind of had a jam-packed day today though. Like it wasn't so much about work, but it was just I had a few errands to run and I'm going on a date tonight or whatever. I haven't been out dating in quite some time, not for any particular reason. It's just been like a busy season for me. Christmas time and then New Year's and then just getting back into the swing of life. I just did not have time to even sit down and think about dating. I possibly went on one date. I can't really remember. It was clearly a forgettable experience. But we are back in like the dating realm and I'm feeling really good about it. There's something really beautiful about stepping into something that you removed yourself from, feeling refreshed and ready. I do not like to go into anything that I find to be important with like a cynical mindset. So if ever I'm feeling like depresso or cynical or negative, I just say, girl, it's not your time. Just take a step out. Relax, recuperate, and then go back when you're feeling up to it. And I'm feeling up to it. I feel really great. Every single day I wake up feeling more secure in myself and I feel more secure in my connections with people. Granted, I'm just a completely different person than I used to be. I used to be like such a daydreamer and a romance type of girl where I would meet someone who checked all of my boxes and I would plan our life together. Now I'm like, hey, may the best man win. I don't really know. I'm living my life. I'm enjoying my friendships. I have a lot of things coming up that are important. I have 2 weddings this year that I'm attending. I have trips. I have, things with my friends and my family. So I'm not feeling any type of way. I'm just really excited to continue on with my journey of living for the very first time. I always get a question that is similar to this question I'm about to say that has to do with me being a single woman, being a grown woman, living alone, navigating life alone. To be honest, I was not raised to be a fearful adult. I think a lot of people that I know, and this is just from experience, so I don't know how you guys were raised, but at least from people that I know, I noticed that I will be friends with women who their parents instilled a lot of fear in them of people hurting them and them being robbed or kidnapped or whatever. And although that those are very scary things and you should always have your head on a swivel, I just wasn't raised by fearful parents. Granted, my mom has her own specific fears that I think rubbed off onto me, which was driving in the city. But I conquered that fear this year. If you've been paying attention to the podcast, I was driving into Manhattan for quite some time because I was dating a guy who lived in Manhattan. And I kind of had to face my fear because I just didn't want to keep spending $200-$300 on Ubers every time I would see him. Naturally have been taught to be pretty independent and to take good care of myself, but also to be discerning and to not allow people to push my boundaries and to just keep it moving in a way that somebody wouldn't feel like I'm enfeeble or that I am a target. I really don't think about these things that often. I think that my entire life, especially because of my trauma and the things that I've experienced in the abuse category, I know that anybody in life can hurt you. It could be someone who is a stranger, and it could be someone who lives in your home. And me knowing that, I think I naturally always had my head on a swivel after facing the abuse that I faced, because anybody can hurt you. Anybody can do something to you that would be crossing your boundaries or would be pushing against what you find to be in your comfort zone. I wanted to really do like a well thought out podcast episode on safety for women, because I definitely do little things naturally that I think could help people. But the first thing that I want to say, and maybe this is really bad advice, but this is the Hailey advice, is to live your life, to obviously be protected and to obviously have your head on a swivel, but live your life and don't live it in fear. You could walk out of your house tomorrow and slip and fall and crack your head open and die. You can literally go to the gym and go to like places that you frequent all the time, and somebody could hurt you there. And of course, I don't want you guys to feel like, you shouldn't be someone who is on guard and protective of yourself, but I don't want it to prevent you from doing things and making like incredible life decisions, because it's just going to stifle you. And when I became single, I literally had no choice but to navigate life on my own. So when people are like, well, how did you do it? I didn't have much of a choice. It was either I navigate life on my own as a grown-ass adult woman, or I go and move back in with my parents. And for what reason would that be? I didn't need to live with my parents. It would have just been because, I don't know, I didn't want to be alone, which honestly, being alone has been like the most incredible experience and has taught me so much about myself and taught me so much about how to enjoy my own time and embrace solitude and work on myself and how to be in a quiet space for a long period of time. Being that I was raised in a home that was loud and rambunctious all the time, the chaos being to a minimum in a home with just me and my dogs is like beautiful. But I still want to share with you guys some ways that make me feel comfortable being on my own and make me feel comfortable navigating life as a grown woman and protecting myself, because I do want to enjoy life, but I also want to make sure that I'm someone who's on guard and protected and does all of the things that I at least can do that would deter anybody that was a harmful human being. I think one of the biggest things, and this is like so special for today, because today is actually my firstborn daughter, my dog. It's her birthday, Suede. She is 5 years old today. And I remember when I moved out, I knew for a fact that I wanted dogs. Like, I grew up with dogs my entire life, and I just could not see my life without dogs. Now, I got my dogs when I was with my ex-boyfriend. Now, as an adult woman who is navigating life on my own, there is such a special bond between being a woman that is taking care of dogs without a partner, because they serve as protection. They also provide you with like comfort if you have anxiety or just FOMO or you just don't like being alone. They keep you company. They are just such a beautiful aura and presence to have within your home. So I say all that to say that my dogs were the biggest blessing that was given to me in navigating solitude and navigating being a woman who does life on her own in a way that doesn't allow me to have fear. I sleep with my dogs every single night. So if you're like someone who's like afraid of the dark, afraid of like being in bed by yourself, like having your dogs with you in your bedroom just gives you so much more comfort than if you were alone and by yourself. And it's crazy because when I do stay at other places, I miss them immensely. Like, I almost need them more than they need me. I feel like they are my emotional support and provide me with so much that allows me to feel comfortable in my own home. I also think the obvious fact is having dogs, especially large dogs, prevents people from feeling comfortable with like coming into your home or just like thinking that they can invade your space. I love that I have big dogs because people who are afraid of dogs don't feel so compelled to do something like that. So if you're afraid of somebody like breaking into your home or breaking into like your apartment, my parents have said this my whole life, there is no better alarm than a dog, especially a scary dog. So make sure that you're training them and that they understand how to protect your home. My dogs are really good at like barking if somebody was to like open my door, and they don't love strangers. So for me, it gives me like so much peace and comfort knowing that they are guarding my home. Another really good hack, if you have a home and you live alone, is getting a beware of the dog sign to put on your fence. If you don't have a dog, you still can put this sign up. It deters people from coming because they think when they are reading that sign that you have a dog that could bite them. So that is like a really great way for protection if you want to guard your home in some way. I also kind of want to just give you guys some random hacks that I have that have nothing to do with like anything specific other than just protecting yourself as a woman who wants to live her life but do it in a way that you feel most comfortable. So I wrote down a few of them because I wanted to make sure that I checked off everything on my list that I thought was important. But another big one that I think is important if you are living alone or navigating life in some way by yourself for the most part is sharing your location with your family and friends. For them to know where you're at all times gives you peace and comfort as well. So as long as your phone is on you, you are pretty much being tracked by people who love and care about you. So I love having multiple people in my life knowing my location. And I also always make sure I verbally tell people prior to going out what I'm doing. I am not a secretive person in that regard because I think it's really good for safety and protection. So if you know you're going out to dinner with a guy or you're going to a different city or you're traveling or you're doing this and that, tell people in your life where you're going to be and at what time. This is crucial, and giving people the update so that they know if they don't hear from you or they don't know your location, that if there is a weird spot that you're at that you didn't disclose to them, they know that that's an issue. When you are going to parking lots or anywhere at night where you might be shopping or walking alone, I would really recommend to just park near streetlights or try to park as close to the place as possible. I'm very big on making sure I park very close to like malls and things like that. And I prefer shopping in the daytime. But of course, shopping in the daytime does not prevent you from any type of predator. It's definitely going to lessen the chances of somebody following you to your car. And I also love the idea of when you are walking back and forth from like one location to another to talk on the phone and to walk quickly. So make sure you're like talking to somebody on the phone that somebody knows that someone is speaking with you. So if somebody thinks that they can, try to hurt you or whatever, you have somebody on the line that you can describe that person to, and that you know that there is somebody who kind of is protecting you as like a guard, even though they are not physically there. I also love the idea of talking on the phone when you're in the Uber. I do this quite a bit. It also prevents the Uber driver from like blabbing your ear off, but it just, again, shows like, hey, I have someone on the phone that loves me and cares about me and knows where I'm at. And I will like get in my Uber and I will say on the phone, okay, I just got in the Uber. And then I'll say to the Uber driver, who are you picking up? And then they'll say the name back to me, making sure that it's my name. And then I will get in the car and then I'll say, okay, I am going back to this location. Then I'll be like saying that on the phone to whoever I'm talking to and being, okay, I'm going back to the hotel or I'm going back to home. It's going to take me about 35 minutes. You want to chat with me? And then you can either chat with them or hang up. I prefer staying on the phone. I don't mind. That's kind of how I am. And then also when it pertains to first dates, back in the day, I used to really love the idea of someone picking me up from my home because I thought that that was very chivalrous and generous and just like the gentleman thing to do. Where now as an adult woman, especially in dating when you're either online dating or you're meeting somebody for the first time, there is no reason to be giving that person your address. So if you want them to be generous and like get you to the dinner spot, you could ask them to send you money to pay for the Uber. I don't even bother. I just drive myself. It's the safe way. And it's just a way for you to know you're getting home and to the restaurant and back all in your car and under your safety, which I think is crucial and important. So that's like my new thing. I don't allow men to pick me up on first dates unless I know them like through a friend of a friend and they are someone that I can like say, I know pretty well that they can come to my home. But again, there's really no reason. Now, if you're going on a first date with somebody and they tend to want to extend the evening or you don't really know their vibe and you feel like, you're not going to be able to get out of this date, I love going into dates by saying that I am going to be meeting with friends and family after the date. So let's just say the dinner reservation is at 7 p.m. and you kind of think to yourself, okay, like I'll probably be here for like 2 hours. You can say, I'm meeting with like family at this bar down the street. at 10 p.m. So I'm going to just meet them there. And that's kind of the reason why I was really able to go out tonight. And you can always let this person know this like prior to even getting to the date so that they don't think that you're bailing on them. It's just the plans that you already had in place. But it's a great way to get out of something and also to make sure that you aren't feeling pressured to either have them drive you home or for them to try to extend the evening or try to like liquor you up. They know that you have someone or a group of people waiting on you at a specific time after the date. So I do this all the time, and I find that this is the safest way to get out of something or the safest way to just make sure that I'm continuing the evening in the way that makes me feel good. Because not always do I want to get out of the date. It's just that I want to make sure that I'm getting home safely, and I don't know this person, so I like to make sure I have plans after the fact. Now, I actually had someone approach me in the gym recently, and it was like this older man who I've literally never seen, and he was asking me very invasive questions. Now, in the past, I used to have what was called truth serum, where I could not help myself but tell the truth, where now I realize that invasive questions make me feel like they are kind of going against my boundaries and pushing against my privacy. So I try to answer in the most vague way, or sometimes I'll even be a bitch and just be like, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. So for instance, the guy in the gym had asked me like, oh, like, do you live in this area? Or like, oh, like, where are you coming from? And I was like, yeah, I live in the area. Like, I just kind of said it back to him. Like, yeah, I live in the area. I think he had asked me like, where are you coming from? And I'm like, here. I can tell that he was catching my vibe. I wasn't going to give him like more answers. And then he had asked me like, oh, like, are you coming back from work? And I'm like, yep. I'm not telling you my business. So like, I have been asked several times of like, where are you from? Or like, where do you live? And I always say here, because then they're like, oh, like at the gym. And I'm like, yep. And then I walk away because I am not answering that question. Now, I'm really grateful that my gym isn't like 2 seconds from my home. So to me, it doesn't feel like an unsafe answer. If it is feeling like an unsafe answer, you can say, oh, I don't feel comfortable answering that question, or you're not entitled to know my home address, or like be like silly with them, but like also still not give them an answer that feels like it's going against what you view as your privacy. And yeah, I just think that you need to stop answering people honestly when it comes to invasive questions. Like, we as women need to protect ourselves, and men know that. Men are very aware of that. And if you ask a bunch of dads that have daughters or brothers that have sisters, they would be very in tune with this conversation and say, oh yeah, like I wouldn't tell a man that shit. If you were my sister or if you were my daughter, I wouldn't say any of this. So men know. They're just trying to push to see if they can get a response out of you. Now, another big thing for women, if you are living alone, maybe you're moving into your first apartment, or you're moving into your first house, whatever and whatnot, having protection is something that I will always stand for and always find to be important, whether it's a firearm or even a baseball bat, some sort of like pepper spray, knives, whatever. Just keep them where you can hide them and also where you can get them easily. I always would recommend, depending on your state, I don't really know much about certain states, but I know New Jersey is very strict with their firearms, but you can still go through with it and get your license and get a gun and get the things that you need to feel safe. It's not like my goal to ever use these things, but it's nice to have them and just kind of getting well versed, because prior to becoming someone who was able to shoot a gun, I had no idea that they were so difficult to use. Like, maybe I'm just a not so great learner when it pertains to them, but like it took me a minute to be able to use a firearm properly. So go there, go to the range, get your practice in, get something that feels comfortable to you. If you are like anti-firearms, you can have a baseball bat by your bed. You can use wasp spray, which actually sprays like super far out. If somebody were to like walk into your house, you can spray it in their eyes. I also heard that spray paint works really great. You can keep it in your car, and you can also keep it in your home. And if you spray paint somebody in the eyes, it will like blind them and like kind of choke them out a little bit. And what's really great about it is if it's like a color, the police or whoever can find the person pretty easily because they have spray paint literally all over themselves. So that is another way that you can do that. Also pepper spray, having a pocket knife on you, anything that makes you feel good. Like, I don't care. Like, I know that a lot of these things are illegal in certain states, so make sure that you're looking it up. But like, my parents have always told me, like, we'll get you out of it. If somebody hurts you, do what you gotta do. And that's kind of like the mindset that I live with. Like, I will do what I need to do to protect myself. I also heard this really good one from this girl on TikTok, and she was talking about if you feel unsafe in an elevator, let's just say you're staying somewhere and you're doing a business trip and you're alone and you're at a hotel. There's so many different things that you can do to protect yourself in the hotel room. I'm not going to give you guys that advice today because I don't really go away that often. And I know that there are like certain door stoppers that you can get, but I'm not super well versed in them. So maybe I'll get back to you on that when I do start traveling more. But what I do know is that let's just say you're on an elevator with someone creepy and maybe they hit the same floor as you, or your floor gets off before theirs does. You can like kind of gauge, okay, this person feels kind of uncomfortable and there's no one else in the elevator with me. So you can actually hit the lobby button again and be like, oh my God, I totally forgot something downstairs. And like just kind of audibly say that out loud and then let them get off. And then you go back down and then go to your floor. So that's like a good way to kind of get out of being stuck in an elevator with someone. Or let's just say someone's on the same floor as you and it makes you uncomfortable. You can hit a different floor number and get off after them and then go back to your floor. It's truly up to you. Also, again, you don't need to tell people like where you're staying, how you're staying. And let's just say you do feel like you're being propositioned in some way, or you kind of got yourself in a situation where somebody does know you're staying somewhere or where you're staying. You can be like, oh yeah, I'm staying here with my mom or my sister. Like, never tell people that you're alone. People always ask me like when I'm out, like, oh, like, so you live alone, this, that, and the third. I'm like, well, I have dogs. And for the most part, my sister's always visiting. So I'm really never alone. Or like my parents are always over. So I'm never alone. Because for the most part, people do know, if they know me kind of personally or through a person, that I am single, but they don't need to know my business in the sense of like, exactly like who is in and out of my life and who is watching over me. So I always let people know, oh no, I have a plethora of people in my life that are checking on me, who are staying with me. You can even be like, yeah, my mom is actually extending her stay at my place. I'm watching her, right now, and blah, blah, blah. And, never tell people that you're alone. Like, there's really no reason for it. I also love the idea of, let's just say you move to a new city, you're alone, you feel uncomfortable being alone. Start frequenting similar restaurants every single time you go out and let these people get to know you. So when you're sitting at the bar, when you're sitting at the restaurant, make yourself look beautiful, talk with the staff, get acclimated to the place and let them get to know you, because this will actually protect you when you are dating. So let's just say you move to a new city, you start frequenting the same place. Now you can tell your future dates, okay, this is the place that I want to go to. So then when you go there, the staff knows you, they know that you're obviously dating, and they can either make sure that you're okay. Or let's just say it's a super dark late night and it's kind of a walk to your vehicle. You can have one of the staff members walk you to your car. I've actually had a few people at certain restaurants do that for me, where like they walked me out to my vehicle at night because like maybe there was a weird person in the restaurant who was like trying to like catcall me, and there was a little bit of a walk from like the restaurant to the parking garage. So just finding people who can look out for you, can make sure that you're safe. Women deserve safety, and there is nothing wrong with asking for someone to help you and assist you. Just take the feminine approach in doing it so that they do it with ease. Like, I'll be like, oh my God, I hope it doesn't bother you, but can you get one of the guys to walk me out to my car? And they'll do it. Like, they don't want women to feel unsafe in their place. So like, just, maybe waiting a moment to see who is available and then letting them walk you to your car. These are all things that I essentially do like in the day-to-day basis or like the week-to-week basis that keep me feeling protected, keep me feeling safe. Of course, like if I were to talk about like the top things for me, it's definitely like having an alarm system in my home, having my dogs, having weapons on me at all times, always being on the move, always having people calling me, looking out for me, and going to places that make me feel comfortable. Even just the fact that I'm dating again, and I'm going to be dating in a different city because I have another place now in Philly and I'm going to be out there a little bit more. I am putting in the proper routine and taking the proper precautions to making myself feel safe so that I don't, put myself in a sticky situation. Nobody is entitled to my business. Nobody is entitled to my home address, my life, who I'm living with, what I'm doing. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable or it makes you feel unsafe, please don't mention it. And yes, there are times in life where we don't feel unsafe and we don't feel uncomfortable, but I still think you should remain a little bit more private and mysterious about certain things. Just because somebody is making you feel feel comfortable doesn't always mean that they are someone who is safe to be around. A lot of the times, people that are like that can disguise themselves as like really great and charismatic and sweet and gentle because that is their way of pushing a boundary. So still always, cross your T's and dot your I's when it comes to your safety and your protection, and to live without living in fear. Like, I don't like living in fear. I want to live comfortably. So I do things that make me comfortable. I hope that this episode helped you guys. I know I was kind of like all over the place and just like rambling, but I'm hoping you got something out of it. There is no reason to live in fear. You just need to always be on guard. You need to always be someone who is watching out for yourself, and you are your biggest protector. And until you meet someone or you have someone who can protect you, I think it's really crucial that we as women are not naive or just like living in la la land and dilly-dallying without really checking to make sure that our surroundings are safe. There are so many other ways that I suggest women to be comfortable and safe. Like when I think of, girls running outside and things like that, like make sure you're running in daylight and you again, have people, tracking your location and take different routes every day. Like there's so many little things that we can do, but I wouldn't be able to fit it all in one podcast. Maybe I'll do it in another one. But again, like just be someone who is unpredictable, quick, has people that care about you, and isn't giving off the energy that you're naive, stupid, or weak. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and go and live your life, ladies. I will talk to you guys next week. Bye, everyone.
Pioneer.